Hey guys, April 22nd is today. Welcome to the TED Show. I'm with my friend Donald Ward. So excited to have him on the show finally. Sorry about the glasses, just so I can inform everybody again. I've got a sinus infection and my eyes are light sensitive, so I'm having to wear these glasses. It's a little rough right now because the sun is like literally beating on me as we speak. Ben Gilbert, hello, congratulations on your baby girl.
Congrats.
You just had a new baby, it's so awesome. So let us know you can hear us and see us, give us a thumbs up. Super allergy today, so I will try to keep that away from Don. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey.
Finally.
It's been
We finally got it. I can't believe we made it happen. So tell us, everybody always, and we got a thumbs up, so we're good.
All right,
everybody likes the origin story. Everybody likes to know a little bit about you. You weren't born and then all of a sudden you're this big CEO guru. That's my words.
Yeah, okay.
So tell us a little bit about you.
Upstate New York boy, and
What's upstate? Is it super upstate or the
Super.
pretend upstate?
about an hour from Montreal.
Oh yeah,
upstate.
you're upstate.
Plattsburgh, born on an Air Force base. Most of my family, the Wards, we have lumber yards all over the place up in the Adirondacks. We could watch the Olympics on Whiteface Mountain, basically from my grandfather's backyard.
Wow.
Which adjoined to the Ward lumber mill, so you smelled pine. And I've been falling off the earth ever since, heading south. I'll probably be in Brazil by the age of 78. So
many moons from now.
yeah, 2.5 years up there, and then it was growing up in school was in Geneva, New York, in the Finger Lakes, where they have real lakes. Yeah.
They also have a vineyards. They have wine up in Finger
Man,
Lakes.
the Finger Lakes is wineries everywhere you look.
It's crazy.
And was there until 18, and then was in D.C., and that was until 1984. And while there, I spent half of that season in the automobile business and did real well. I was the only white guy in a sales team of about 18 guys, and then I was the only blue-eyed soul brother because as a musician, I'm a keyboard player and songwriter on top of everything else nobody else knows.
I don't think I knew that.
Most
See,
people
this is
don't
the
know
stuff
that.
we learn. All right.
Toured with a lot of bands you wouldn't even believe me if I told you.
You
And
toured with bands?
big bands, and we did a lot of warm-up for biggest names out there. And that was a season of my 20s, and for 4 years was in the ghetto selling cars. And so I got a lot of funny stories there. And then the next 4 years was in the construction industry. And that was, my uncle had invented prefab wall panels. And so he manufactured wall panels and roof trusses and engineered floor trusses and all that. And so I was working with all the purchases of the largest land tract developers. So I was a member of Northern Virginia Home Builders and Suburban Home Builders in Maryland, DC Home Builders. And so I had season tickets to the Redskins when they used to win all the time. And when it was worth knowing, I used to play racquetball with a lot of those guys. I played racquetball competitively for 23 years.
Is there anything you didn't do? Like
Oh,
this
boy.
is like what was that movie where the guy does everything?
Yeah.
Walter Brennan.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, that's good.
Walter Mitty.
But while I was in D.C., I had 7 sun tanning salons while I was in the construction business, and while I performed music every night, I didn't sleep.
That had to be the 80s.
It was the early 80s.
Yeah.
In 84, I said, you know what?
I used to go to a tanning salon. I don't know
Yeah.
why it was so bad for you, but we didn't know any better then.
Actually,
You probably did. I did not.
no, it wasn't a matter of being bad for you. It's a matter of too much of anything's not good for you.
Agreed.
I used to do lectures, #1 expert on photobiology. My mentor was Dr. Friedrich Erbach at the Skin and Cancer Hospital at Temple University. And I took to 630 locations. I'm not bragging. As a matter of fact, I have to brag on my maker for that one. But within 5 years, by 1989, I had opened up 630 sun tanning salons across the country, founded 3 trade magazines, Today's Image, Tanning Trends, Looking Fit, all 3 still in business 30 years later. One of the co-founders of the Sun Tanning Association for Education. I am one of the 5 grandfathers of the indoor tanning industry. To this day, that'll never change. But in 2004, I
You
knew...
don't share? I didn't know any of this. I love it.
I don't, most people, if they don't ask me, I don't tell them.
No, I love it. It's good history. It's what people want to hear.
Made millions a couple times, lost them a couple times, and during those down times is when I think I found the wisdom and the source of it. And there's 2 ways to learn, mentors and mistakes, and I did both. I had $1 million mistakes I wouldn't pay a nickel to go through again. But I sure learned a lot from it all. So
where does that bring you to today?
Well, in 2004, I don't know, I wasn't taking medication, so I can't blame it on that. I thought I audibly heard the word Orlando and I said, oh God, hurricanes, humidity.
Lots of humidity.
Florida had never been on my list of places to be. But we came down and I fell in love with it here and knew this was where I was supposed to do whatever I was going to do next. And for 1 year, we just went to the parks too much, and we were in very good position at the time. And I'm a reader. So I read way too many books, and then I bumped into a CEO organization that I fell in love with for 4 years. I was a state director of that. And so every 10 weeks, I'd be in LA for 8 days.
What's a CEO organization?
Well, this was a learning organization that has chapters all over the country. It was called CEO Space. And got very involved with that. And so every 10 weeks, I'd spend 8 days in LA with the kings and queens of industry who were on our faculty. So people, they're always asking me about my CEO clubs. Where did you meet these guys? And how do you get them to do it for you for free? To do a Zoom call with a guy that's $5,000 an hour? We're friends.
Right.
That's going to be part of maybe what we touch on today, favor, the power of it. So did that for 4 years. Then I went through a season that would be a movie. Lost everything. Essentially, you could say we were homeless, but homeless to me didn't look the same as to most people. We moved 29 times in 4 years. Never had a paycheck. I continued to be me. I gave out of my inner wealth. I have a book that got birthed out of that called Stealth Wealth, and we're about to bring that to market. But how do you monetize resources, internal and external? I had to learn how to monetize resources without even asking for a check. People couldn't not bless my family because all I did was give without expectation of anything in return. And I'd get up in the morning, I'd go, okay, God, give me 5 faces. I'm going to call them up. I'll coach, I'll mentor, I'll pray with them, I'll laugh with them, I'll cry with them, and I'll connect them. I'm always the connector. All my life I've always been the connector. So I would just be me, and I go, I'm on your time clock, God. So Friday, I need $1,500 and a place to live by 5 o'clock. You know, faith, you know, they say is the substance of things hoped for. Well, only if you put a time frame and a dollar amount on it. So you better be specific when you're talking to God or the universe or whatever you.
I believe specificity is a very important part of that.
You've got to know what you're expecting.
You do.
And so anyways, it turned into, I ran into another CEO organization about 3 years ago. And I had done a lot of corporate networking officer work where a company would call up and say, we've got 2 trade shows we got to be at this week. The CEO can only be at one. He wants you at the other. So I was a hired gun. And so somebody else is taking care of your expenses, rewarding you. In the meantime, you're enlarging your contact grid for them and yourself. You have a shopping list for them. And, you know, the more pieces that we have in our puzzle box of puzzle pieces, the more people we can help.
Why was the CEO, so you're I mean, for some reason or another, I mean, it's never a coincidence, CEO clubs are part of your world. Define what that is. Like, so what does that do? Do you have to be a CEO to be part of it? Because that's been that's how I knew you. That's how I met you. Mm-hmm. So I believe that had a big influence. How do people get involved in that? And what would you say to somebody who wants more information?
Okay, well, there's actually a couple lessons I think I'm supposed to share out of it.
Okay.
I would say if it's your idea, you pick up the check. If it's God's idea, he picks up the check. So I run into this guy, and he says, oh man, you're the guy to bring CEO clubs to Florida. I figure it's $50,000, $75,000 for the franchise. I go, all right, how much? He goes, no, you don't get it. I'm the mentor to the CEO of CEO clubs. I'm going to tell him this is you, and he needs you here. And I said, all right. So he goes, no, it won't cost you anything. I go, what? Okay, all right. Well, so far, it sounds like maybe this is something I'm supposed to do. And so I talked to the CEO of CEO Clubs. I go, so you're the world's oldest and largest CEO mastermind network? Yes, sir. Okay. Do you have a farm club? He goes, what's that? Well, if you're the major leagues and you don't have a farm club, you know, it's kind of like...
sports reference, guys.
Yeah, sports reference. You know, I'm big on building fortune-level teams around global dreams because money's attracted to the teams, not the idea or the dream itself. So building teams is everything to me. So I said, okay, we need to develop tier 2. Well, they're asking me, what's tier 2? Companies doing under 2 million annually in sales. Let's raise up our own CEOs. Let's get blamed for their success. Let's teach them what collaboration looks like, and let's hold events where they come together to share who and what they know unconditionally.
And how was that? What was that audience like? Because you're working,
Yeah.
This is a new audience, right, for
Right.
you?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I love the concept because there are so many great CEOs out there that are they're still trying to figure out their way. They don't necessarily have all the funding or the resources they want, and they also don't have anybody to bounce their ideas off. So
Exactly.
you come in, and then was there a lot of ego? Did you have to figure out how to bring that back, dial that back, a lot of bravado? That was my sense of how it probably originally started, but you can tell me I'm wrong.
No, in the beginning, I knew that I had a lot of friends that were major players. So for the photo ops, my meetings were full of a lot of silver-haired guys, but that was not my vision.
Right.
I wanted a vision that looked like the community. So if you look at our holiday Christmas party and you go, there's 24 gals in the shot, and there's 24 guys in the shot, and there's every color of the rainbow in the shot. That's what I wanted. I wanted something where it really represented the community. And then I started putting new restrictions on it. And that was, do you have a vision worth dying for? Is it global? Anything less than global is just a seed of the dream. It's just a cash flow idea. And is it socially responsible? And for 14 years, I poured my life without fees into those types of things. And now I sit on boards of $9.9 billion companies, but man, did we pay a price to get to where we're at. And we're building a city in Honduras. We have disruptive technologies in agriculture and aerospace, medicine, it goes on, transportation, shipping, it goes on and on and on. And how did that all happen? I looked for people who had visions that were global. They had disruptive technologies. And my first question is, they go, worth dying for? I go, yeah, does your family think you're nuts? You left the sure thing in corporate America, and now you're doing this.
Right.
Oh yeah, my family thinks I'm nuts. Okay, that qualifies. And they go, okay, what else? Socially responsible are your stakeholders. That's anyone with a touch point to your company. And your stockholders of equal value to you. Yes. Okay, let's continue the conversation. And then 14 years later, there's some amazing things I can sit here sharing about, but I'm more interested in the visions, dreams and visions of people out in your audience, really, to be honest with you.
Why do you think part of it's dreams, teams? Why are teams important? You mentioned that a couple of times earlier. Why is the team approach important? Why do you think it's the way to go?
I'll preface that with what if there are 3 phases to a dream: the birth, the death, and the resurrection. And I say that because every dream will die. And the reason it will die is because you leaned on your own understanding. That's what entrepreneurs do.
Right.
They don't have mentors. They're not teachable. They've got too much ego in the beginning. And I got this. Okay. You do until you don't. And then all of a sudden, the dream's dead. You've lost everything. And the dream won't go away.
Right.
Now, you're open to having a team. And you're open to having a dream, but you can't afford a team. So then you look for something like CEO Club. Any mastermind that'll let you be a part of it, be a part of it. How many masterminds are too many to be a part of? I don't have one.
I learn from every single one I go to. It doesn't matter if it's in an industry I think is important to me. It doesn't matter if I think I know the people or the people don't seem interesting to me. Trust me, if you invest the time in a mastermind, I don't care how low level you might think it is or high level, you're going to get something out of it.
Absolutely. And, I've seen more people's visions and even figure out their purpose at the boardroom table. And they go, what? I go, what you're doing what you're on earth to do, call that your work. What you get paid to do, call that your job. One day, wouldn't it be ideal that the two could become one? Yeah. And you're doing what you're on earth to do. And people go, how do you get people to figure that out? I said, well, I can tell them stories. Too many stories of people that I'm in a grocery store or in a sauna or wherever. I go, hey, I never ask you what you do. And so I'll turn around and go, hey, do you ever go through hell? If they're 40 years or older, they've gone through hell at least once.
Absolutely.
Then I say, okay, well, what if it'd be a waste of time to have gone through that hell, but what if I could show you how to profit from helping other people come out of the same hell you went through, but not at their expense. And suddenly they're like, there's a tear in their eye, they figure out their purpose. That's what I could do for the rest of my life. And then that's where I step in.
Why is we've talked about purpose a lot on this show. Why do you think finding that or finding some semblance of it is important? Why is finding your purpose important? Can't you just work 50 years and you're just making money and you have no idea why you're doing it, but you pay the bills? Is that fulfilling? I know my own answers to this, but why is purpose important?
Well, it comes right back to that question that I ask people about their vision. Is it worth dying for? Because if it isn't, it's just a job.
Right.
And you're on earth to make somebody's vision come to pass, apparently, but you haven't thought about the value of having your own.
Why don't we think about that? What are we just trained to be robotic? We're just trained not to think about what our purpose is. A lot of people I know have been told, all right, you should go to school, go get a trade, go to college, get your degree, move out there. In 50 years, you'll have a gold watch. They don't do that anymore, but that was the old school way of doing things. And then people go through life, and then they're 20, 30 years in, and they're like, what am I doing? This doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't bring me any happiness, no joy, no fulfillment. Yeah. There is no purpose. I know I'm supposed to be doing something else, but they don't have the resources or the support to figure out or they feel like they don't, to figure out what their purpose is.
Yeah, sometimes just for fun, I'll be at an event, or wherever I am, elevator. So who are you? You know, because people don't know who they are, they always tell you what they do.
That's true.
And that's right there. If you want proof that people don't know who they are, ask them who they are. They're going to tell you what they do.
When people want to come on the show, they usually want to pitch their wares. Yeah. Like they always want to pitch like I always tell people we're not QVC or HSN. And when I tell them we're not going to talk about their business, you can throw it in there because it's part of your life. We want to talk about your story. They lose their mind. Yep. Why? They've never addressed it, thought about it. Maybe in the back of their mind they had a dream, like you talked about earlier, but they don't even know how to. They don't even know how to express what they're feeling or what they want to do. So don't feel bad if you run into Don Ward in the elevator and he asks you that, because most of the people I come in contact with don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, I call them pickup lines, but they're really just openers. And I have so many of them and learned them. But what's your vision? Okay, that's a good one. What's your purpose? I was at a networking event where the average net worth was $500 million of every attendee.
Nice.
This was my opener. And everyone liked it so much. They'd introduce, ask this guy this. By the end of the night, I knew everybody in the place, and everyone kept going, this is my new friend Don Ward. Ask him the question you just asked me. And this was the question. I said, so, what is the problem you've already solved for mankind? Because if they're $500 million net worth, they don't need anything. They don't want to be pitched anything any more than you do or I do.
Right.
But they do love to tell their story. And whatever you honor will honor you. So honor them. Give them the opportunity to tell their story. If they get around to you, great. If they don't, great. But you just made a friend because you actually listened to them. And that's really what the key is. My wife is one of the best networkers in the world, but she thinks it has something to do with business, so she won't do it. But I watch her all the time, and she'll know every story about everybody in 5 seconds in a grocery store line, But it's really funny because when I'm out, I'm just looking to make new friends, period. Everybody will lead to somebody.
Yes.
And if I go to an event looking for the person I can help the most, I will always find him. Right. If I look for the person who will buy whatever it is I sell or don't sell, my wife wants to know what I sell. I don't even let her know, right? What am I selling? I'm selling my help, my heart, everyone that I know is on loan to me from God. What if? So, I don't feel possessive about the people I can connect you to. But if you get in an environment where everyone buys in to share who and what you know, unconditionally, and watch what happens, it changes everything.
I agree. I think people go to networking events, especially with the wrong idea and the wrong motives and the wrong purpose, or what they want to get out of it. The expectation is way off. I love what you said. If I can go to a networking event and I can go there to find the person I can help the most, listen, guys, I know that sounds so simple. You don't understand how that's going to impact your life, your business, everything else that you do. You go there without, it is a selfless, initially a selfless thing. Do you benefit later? Absolutely. On so many levels, you won't even be able to count them. But if you go with that purpose, you go with that idea, look, I just want to help somebody. I want to figure out what I can do, who I can connect. Then you will love every networking. It won't even be networking for you. It'll just be a wonderful experiment and a lot of love and support and connection.
It's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle.
It shouldn't be something that you have to do for your business. It should just be, oh my God, there's an event tonight. I'm going to go make a new friend. And if I go, anyone that's going to be invited to go to that same event with me, they already know I'm going to introduce them to people because it's what I love to do.
That's correct.
That's just Ted being Ted, Don being Don.
That's correct.
That's what we love to do. So.
Well, and I think people, so that's why when people say, what are you here for? A lot of times I don't even have my business card. If it's an industry specific, because I'm in the mortgage world, so if it's an industry specific, of course I'm going to try to have my business card.
Sure.
But if I'm going to a general event, if I'm going to something where I know I'm going to meet new people, there's a lot of opportunity there, I don't even like to give my business card. I don't even like to throw out my business card. I like to just get to know people. If your lead is, here's my business card and what can you do for me, you are just going, you should just stay home. That is or you could just be a good example of the things we don't want to do. I sometimes point those people out at networking events, God forgive me. It's just, you want to go out like Don's talking about. Go out with a different mindset. Go out to find the person you can help, the person you can connect, the person that you can do something for. And you're going to find so many people that will help you and do things for you organically, godly, whatever your beliefs are. You're not going to know what to do with all of that business and all those connections.
I just go out to have a good time. And
well, me too, brother, but you know.
Having the good time for me is when I'm talking to you and I see a face, you need to know that face. And I could give you so many stories, but if you're showing up in contribution, here's what happens. You're causing ripples. In the natural realm, we believe that ripples are the result of waves. But in the spiritual realm, ripples create waves. So I give favor to people. I don't sit there, Tracy Quinn is here starting eWomen's Network. The other day she sends me a note. Don.
Oh, I like her.
You've given me 40 referrals so far. Okay. People go, well, you don't even try to talk about how to join your CEO clubs when I'm at your event. I go, if I have to ask you if you want to be a member, you probably shouldn't be one.
Amen to that.
So how do you get them to want to join? Treat them like they are a member.
Right.
I gave her the 40 referrals before she ever even showed up to an event.
How do you get to that point, though? I think that sounds wonderful. It's very ethereal. It sounds good. But how do you address people that say, well, but I just started my business, I'm struggling, or I've been in my business a while, I'm super busy, I don't have time for that. How do you address those people, and how do you coach them or mentor them on maybe doing things a little differently?
Well, first of all, whatever you believe to be true is going to be true to you, whether it's true or not. So I'll say, well, the reason you're probably in the position you're in right now is because your network, which I believe will equate one day to your net worth, your network is too small, and you're not out giving anything to the world, but you want everyone to buy from you. You want everyone to bless you, do business with you, recognize the greatness in you, and you haven't gone out once and recognized the greatness in you. The first thing I say when I shake your hand the first time I met you is honored. What if they didn't even hear me say that? But what if their spirit secretly goes, I think he just said honored. And secretly, they don't know why they like this obnoxious guy who's having too much of a good time out networking, but they go, I don't know, I kind of like the guy, I kind of trust the guy.
Right.
And before he walked away, he said, here, write this down. I'm writing it down. I always have a little yellow page, think pad of paper in my pocket. I write down the people I tell you I'm going to connect you with, and before I go to sleep that night, you have already received their LinkedIn profile page links. They've already gotten a note saying, expect a call. just do what you say you're going to do. But if you don't do anything, why should you receive anything? It's sowing and reaping, guys. Yeah, there are spiritual laws in business, and you can't defeat them. It's like gravity. You can't undo gravity.
People want, we're a society of immediate response, right? If I say, hi, Don, I'm expecting about 10 leads from you. The way that we think and expect things really is the opposite of what you should be doing, in my opinion. So planting seeds, like you talked about, sowing and reaping, you have to plant those seeds. There's so many times I've planted seeds, and I've learned it, but I'm older. I've learned that I plant a seed, I may never see that seed come to fruition, but the seeds around it and the things that I've done spiritually, universally, whatever your beliefs are, come back to me 100-fold. So it's not about the one seed. It's not about the one person that you think is going to do good for you. It's about planting the seed with people that you can do good for and then watching it grow. It's incredible to me.
Yeah, I had a billionaire friend of mine from Raleigh, North Carolina, do a Zoom training call to my CEO clubs last month. And he started off, he goes, for the rest of your life, all you need is 25 business cards. Value each business card at $1 million. If there's not something there that you feel is $1 million of value, maybe you met an encourager, maybe they're broke. The wealthy don't treat you as somebody who's poor because you're poor, because they give you the opportunity to become somebody, right? But if you have a poverty mindset, you don't think anybody's going to become somebody if they're not somebody today, because they couldn't do something for you today, because you're the one with the poverty mindset. So, by the end of it, he said, okay, I'm going to admit I'm going to have 100 business cards printed in August. He's taking 100 billionaires on a cruise in August and picking up the check.
Wow.
And he said, the only purpose for my cruise, Don, is so that I can have time to build relationship with other billionaires, because together we can make things happen at the speed of thought. Right. And this is on the connection side of who Ted is, on the connection side of who Don Ward is. If you recognize your value as a connector, you want to share the gift, because you can actually help somebody redeem 7 years they lost in one connection. You can help them to accelerate time in their life with one connection. You can help them to compress time, how long it takes to get from point A to point B with one connection. If you don't think one connection is a life changer, well, you're going to be writing that to that effect too. But if you believe that it is, and you're out trying to give that one connection to somebody else, that one connection in your own life will find you on a daily basis. It might take 6 months for that momentum to build up, but if you don't have seeds being planted every day, you're not going to see little harvests coming up every day either.
Why would you not? This is the other thing when I talk to people or coach or mentor people, I'm like, why would you not want to plant a seed every day?
Yeah.
I don't know how, if you don't plant some kind of seed every day, that at some point, again, if you want immediate, you're in the wrong, I feel like you're in the wrong world, right?
Yep.
So if you want things to happen, every single day you go out, you should be planting a seed, a different seeds, and then nurture the seeds that you have. There are so many ways that you can do this, and yet people get stuck in the mindset of, I've got nothing coming in, I don't have any referrals, my business isn't doing well. And I'm not saying that that is not a very hard time. I'm not minimizing it. What I'm saying to you is, instead of completely 100% focusing on the negative of what's going on, try to give 5% of your day initially to positive and planting seeds. Then move it to 10. Then move it to 25. Try to move out of that, because I promise you eventually it will come forth. The seeds will burst. Maybe not in the way you expected. That's the other thing I hear from people a lot, and it's true. It's not the way I expected, Ted. Well, of course not, because the world, God, the universe works in their mind. This is what's going on up here. We just are supposed to do the things that we're supposed to do.
You know what I'm thinking, because I don't know where we're at time-wise, but I want to...
Oh, God, I haven't looked.
Try to give...
We're getting close. Yep. I like how you're keeping me on task today, Don. Very nice.
We were going to talk about dreams, teams, and funding themes, and the thing about it is that team, the intellect of the group, is greater than the intellect of any one given member, in particular you. Wisdom is not found in the counsel of one person, it's found in the counsel of many. And each of those people sitting at any round table knows at least 200 people. I'd hate to know how many are on your list to say, oh yeah, I know Ted. I know from me, my wife is blown away. She goes, everyone in the world is your freaking friend. And I go, well, I decided I wanted to be their friend first, probably, right?
Right.
Well, the product of having tried to help so many people is favor.
Yes.
What I want to close this thing out about, you know, on the
I don't need a director or producer. I got Don Ward. I like it. Makes my job easy. Favor. Let's talk about favor.
Well, I believe that there are currencies. This is part of my stealth wealth. How do you monetize unseen resources, internal and external? Well, trust is have you ever figured out how to monetize it? I have. Loyalty, let me tell you, the 11 boards that I sit on top of, those visionaries, those chairmen of the board, they know I may argue with them about a certain vote or decision coming up, but they know I will always vote with them. Loyalty is worth 3% of a company. Have you thought about how do you monetize your contact grid? How do you monetize a dream? Well, number one, money is not attracted to your idea. It's attracted to, do you have the team capable of executing the plan? The plan they know is fiction, but if the team is real, it brings a reality and a credibility to the plan. So I do a lot on teaching how to talk to money, because whenever you ask for money, all you're ever going to get is wisdom. So never ask for money, ask for wisdom. And then I teach you what to say and how that opens up different doors. But favor, influence, access, even barter, those are currencies that the more you use them, faith, the more you use them, the more you have. Money, you use it, it's gone. So I decided when the CEO Clubs thing came along, I said, I'm going to make this particular business.
Likely. Scam likely, guys.
Scam likely. I'm going to make this particular business come into existence without money. Well, that means I'm going to need favor for boardrooms. I looked at the website for CEO Clubs and said, no, that's not what I want. So I said, I'm going to need a web person. I'm going to need somebody to do my branding. I'm going to need, it goes on and on and on and on. Oh, I want testimonial videos, promo videos. So you know what? I went out and I gave favor to people and said, yeah, CEO Clubs, it might cost you something to show up. I'll tell you, it may cost, but it'll pay. I'll give you a seat this time. What? You just moved here? You've been an anchor woman for 8 years in Omaha and 4 years up there? What do you want to do? She goes, videographer. I said, great. And she goes, take a seat. She takes a seat, she gets through and she goes, oh my God, let me please do a video for you. I want to do a promo video for you. I'm going to do a testimonial video for you. She got 5 clients, paying clients. First event, right? Nice. Web developer. He goes, oh man, I'd love to be there. I need to be around people that can afford my services. Yes, you do. Take a seat. So he takes a seat and he goes, for the rest of your life, Don, you've got web development. You've got branding. Thank you. You know, boardrooms. I have people thrilled to give me their boardroom just so that they can have nothing but a group of CEOs and decision makers walking through. And we have a boardroom that was built for us. It didn't cost anything. It was favor from the guy that owns it. Matter of fact, he turns around and I said, well, your people can come to my events anytime. He goes, no, I'm paying anyways. The last 3 people that he needed to hire, his sales manager, his bookkeeper, and his front desk person, he called me first and I said, you need this person, you need this person, you need this person. And those 3 are still all working there. You know, if you really are being conscious and you're taking inventory when you're talking to somebody, what did you used to do? What do you love to do? What would you die for to do? What are your skill sets? There are differences between talent, skills, and gifts. And that's a whole different message. But the thing is, everything for CEO Clubs was produced out of favor. Right now, a gal came to a meeting 2 weeks ago, and she was a school teacher for years. Bridget, you know, she was English lit, and now she's doing a travel business. So I go, well, why don't you get your couples to write testimonials, and you charge them a package to put it into a collaborative work. And I'll tell you what are you doing with your gift as an editor? What? Does anyone at the table need an editor? All these hands go up. She got 2 jobs right then. She said, Don, forever, I'm your editor. Count me in. I said, well, in that case, you got a membership, okay? And she goes, what? You can have a membership this year. You want to do all that work for me? You're not going to outgive me.
I love that. You're not going to outgive me.
When you're networking, identify givers and takers. The taker will never ask about you. Move on.
Never.
Say thank you.
Thank you, next. We did a whole show about that.
That's
Thank
great.
you,
Yeah.
next.
But when you find the givers, givers are hard to outgive.
Yeah, I agree.
So, you know, that favor quotient can turn around and birth companies without money. Literally. Right now I have 3 that I don't even talk about them. But they're out there and they're being birthed right now without money.
See, we're going to have Don back because he's right, we're out of time. I wasn't paying attention because I was enthralled. We have to have you back because all of the information you're sharing, or what we're going to do, of course, is share all of Don's contact information after the show. He's available. You can tell he's an open book, right? A giver right here, somebody who plants seeds, all the things he talks about, he actually does. He manifests it. He does what he says he wants you to do. He actually does it tenfold. I love that you can't outgive a giver. That's one of my new favorite terms. All right. Any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything before we head out? I mean, you've shared so much great information. That's why I was so enthralled. I'm like, I'm not paying attention to time because I love to hear you speak. All right. Anything you want to share?
Really what's coming to mind right now is about finding that thing that is worth dying for. Because from that point on, the whole idea of a job, the whole idea of work, it goes out the window. The day flies by. My wife will tell you that at 11 o'clock at night, I'm still sending referrals to people, and I have absolutely no guarantee that's going to reward me. But what I do know is these seeds were put in my hands to share with these people that I told them during the day I would share. I am at least going to be of integrity. Be of integrity. Right now I got a guy, he's got 52 financial offices in the country. He just joined CEO Clubs. He called me up and he goes, you know what? This is what I need for my company next. I said, I know 3 people that fit the bill, but this person you want. And he goes, but does she have background in finance? I said, you know what? Higher integrity. You can teach the rest. And he met her and he's like, oh my God, Don, that's exactly the person.
Love it.
So be somebody that can be trusted, and that'll be your reputation and your influence will only increase and precede you.
That's right. All right. Don Ward, guys. Thanks for being on the show, my friend. We got to have you back. We love you guys. We'll be back soon, but thanks for being on. That was so good. Even I learned something. I learn something every time I talk to Don. All right. We'll see you guys soon. Mwah. Thanks, Don, for being on.
Thank you.